Welcome. Our guest is a business analyst, Mr. Promise Amahah. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Amahah, from what we have gathered, is the unbanning only to augment the production processes, that is to augment animal feed production, or are there other factors, the unbanning by the Central Bank of Nigeria?
Well, first of all, we have to be clear that it's selective approval, not unbanning. The ban is still there, but selective approval has been issued to a few companies as reported.
Yes, about 4 companies.
About 4 companies as reported, and the total of 220,000 tons of maize is allowed for those 4 companies to bring into Nigeria with the excuse or with the reason that there is poor capacity or inadequate capacity for local production to meet up with the shortfall. As we can see, it's been displayed on the screen for everybody to see. This was what has been widely circulated, in all the media. That's the memo that granted the selective approval for that ban. You can see also that they said that the reason is that between food imports, the local production capacities to meet with anticipated shortfall is the only single reason why they give this selective approval. Yes. So the critical question to ask is what was the whole original idea of the ban? Remember, not up to a month ago, I was here also applauding government for this all-important ban and stating how important maize is because it's a multi-regional crop. It grows everywhere in Nigeria. It's ubiquitous. Anybody can grow maize. As more video and pictures I will put up on the screen will show. So you can see maize, some pictures of maize on your screen showing maize, and generously being grown in Nigeria. Some parts of Nigeria don't even require fertilizer to grow maize because of the arable land and how maize does well. Okay, of course, this is my farm, but the most striking one I want you to watch is the video of one of the members of my network, the Nigerian Young Farmers Network, that I inspired to get involved in the maize production, what he did with 15 naira maize. So if the video can come up quickly and is giving some volume, we would see.
This is a maize I planted in my backyard. The thing is that it's 15 naira worth of maize, corn I planted, just to test, have experiments for the second planting, season of maize. Actually, I planted this one on the 2nd week of June. I harvested it today, and it yielded very well. Just 15 naira corn. Glory to God.
Okay, so that gives you an idea. This is 15 naira maize random experiment by one of my members, and then up till now he's still harvesting 15 naira maize. Let's take another instance of one of my other members. Just one member that is also planted maize, Mr. Phil, in Plateau State. I would like the pictures of his maize to come up, the total value chain. Okay, we can discuss this first before Mr. Phil's pictures comes up.
This?
So this is ShopRite. This is the cost of maize. Forget the attractive name they gave it, sweet corn. Is maize that you have there, 499 naira.
Where is that?
And ShopRite is there. The label is there.
ShopRite in Nigeria?
Is this ShopRite in Brazil?
I don't know. 400, I can see 499.
499. So it's weighed to be 499, and that's what you're getting for one maize, right? So this is Nigerian.
And are people buying?
You wouldn't be in the stores if people are not buying. It is maize. People find it convenient to move into ShopRite and be able to do their window shopping and groceries in maize. So there you can see what's going on. Remember, I showed you a video already of a young man that used 15 naira to buy the seedlings randomly and did an experiment, and he got a whole lot of maize that he showed off. And then in the markets, in the ShopRites, in the shops and the malls, maize is being sold for that amount. But let's take it further. I want to see more pictures to show you what I mean. Can we have the pictures of the other maize farmer? Continue. I will want to show you the capacity, the so-called capacity that we lack locally. Let's try to interrogate that. That's what we're going to. Continue, please. Next slide, please. Let's see more pictures. Good. You can stop at this. This young man is a member of the Young Farmers Network and just one person. And all the crops, all the maize you see being loaded on that truck came from his farm. And the pictures capture this process of cultivation, to the process of drying, to the process of harvest, and to this point you can see just one person loading. Of course, the full trailer load is about 30 tons of maize. Please, next slide. Good. Continue. This is one farmer's maize. You can see him proudly posing, within his harvest. There you can see. Continue. You would see. This is the process of threshing. Hold it here. After harvesting from the farm, this is the local threshing, preparing his maize, his harvested maize to be prepared. You can count how many value chains that have been identified from cultivation to pre-processing, threshing them and then getting them ready.
The government is working hard.
Go ahead. Next slide, please. Next slide. Good. This is a young man in his farm, during the process of cultivation and harvesting, getting ready. Next slide, please. Next, please. Go ahead. Next slide. With hoe, good. This is a very interesting part. So at some point, the maize is allowed to dry in farm drying of maize before it's harvested to enable quick threshing. So because of the beautiful weather conditions, you can dry your maize and then before you come out to thresh. So we don't really need
natural.
You can see that's what's going on here. That same farm that you saw all green, he's just dried it up, and then you saw the process of threshing and loading it. Let's see the next slide, please. Good. After harvest, there you go. Of course, also this speaks to the poor storage situations we have. Next slide. Good. Next slide too. Maybe we could make very fast so you can see. Okay, the process of bagging and loading to the trailers, moving to the markets, off-take markets. There you go. This is just one.
You mean this is one farm?
One farmer, one person.
From one farm?
From one farm, from one person. Of course, when you say one farm, it could be doing up to 30 hectares. It could be doing up to 30 hectares because the average yield of maize in Nigeria is 4 tons per hectare. You understand? So, for him to have the 30 tons, you can do the math of 4 tons to 30 tons, that give how many hectares you would have done to give him 30 ton capacity that is going to the market.
And when was this?
This season, this is the first season because we're entering the dry season. Well, this is this season.
So how come that we cannot meet up with adequate production level?
Of course, that's why I had to illustrate with this is practical interaction. So it doesn't seem as if we are speaking or playing to the gallery, for goodness sake. Okay. And this is one farmer. So multiply this one farmer by 1 million farmers. And this is the reason why we, immediately after we got news of the ban, we mobilized ourselves to say we're going to launch a 1 million farmer project this month. Just
after the ban?
After the ban. It was the ban that motivated it.
That was last month.
Good. Just while we're preparing to do that, and the next root shock is that the selective approval issued to well-known companies operating in this country to bring in 220,000 tons. Let's do the math. 1 million farmers plant maize at 4 tons per hectare. You have 4 million tons of maize as output. Just 1 million farmers, which is like a twinkle of an eye, because we have a membership strength of over 1 million nationwide. We're talking about, we're interrogating this shortfall. Let's understand the rationale behind this move and why these guys can't get their knees off our neck. Why must we be suffocated with, we're trying to create, embrace government initiatives to create value. We embrace this ban with so much, happiness that, of course, with this ban now, the local production will be empowered, jobs will be created, wealth will be created, a whole lot of opportunities will open up in the sector, only by one crop. Because we understand that this one crop has immense potential across the value chain. It's processed for food, it's processed for animal feed, it's processed for starch, it's processed for a whole lot more. Do you understand? The derivatives from maize alone is incredible. So it's a very important crop. Do you understand? To hold on a bit. So you see this happening, and then at the nick of trying to launch our 1 million member, how do you compare 220,000 tons to 4 million tons of maize that could be generated? I've done the math for you. So 1 million farmers that were mobilizing to plant maize, considering the ban, in response to the ban that we've already applauded of government, decide to plant just maize. And their average yield is, remember, average yield is, of course, average. People can do more than 4 tons per hectare depending on their soil fertility and other factors. Average yield of maize is 4 tons per hectare. What we have eventually is 4 million hectares. 4 million hectares. 4 million hectares. 4 million hectares. If you calculate the cost of forex that will go into giving these 4 companies the ability to import this, you understand, and calculate how much we need to produce 4 million tons of maize in Nigeria. Of course, 1 million farmers is assuming 1 million farmers are doing per hectare. 1 hectare each.
Yeah.
That's how you get to 4 million farmers.
Yes.
Not to say like my member of the network field that did about 30, close to 30 hectares. So if one person does 5 hectares, and he gets 4 tons per 5 hectares, 4 tons per hectare times 5, then by 1 million. That 1 million, you understand?
Wow.
4 tons per hectare by 5 hectares gives you 20 tons output for one person. Do 20 tons by 1 million persons, you have 20 million tons of maize. So, what are we talking about, for goodness sake? What is the consumption rate? How is that 222,000 now greater than, this is not politics. This is not in politics where you have 7 members in count against 16 members to impeach. This, we are talking about practical agriculture. And we're able to, so I'm just trying to quickly illustrate to Nigerians and the general public and maybe the listening government to see what we're talking about. Now, beyond the fact that we're able to meet the shortfall, which they have given us an excuse for allowing these 4 companies bringing this product, we are looking at the far-reaching impact on job creation.
But again, Mr. Amahah, you recall that reports had it. Have you heard of the flood destroying a lot of farms across states of the Federation?
It didn't destroy all the farms. Obviously, these are hazards that it didn't start happening.
That could be a factor. That's why I'm raising
if it was a factor, they would have put it on the circular there. The flooding is a factor that's mitigating that.
But what do you think will lead to high cost of production?
Okay,
if not,
so let me tell you something.
Like flood.
Let me say something. Of course, I think the photograph with the CBN governor is also on one of the slides. At when we have gone for advanced engagements to try to help them see reason. Young Nigerians have decided to take their future in their hands. No young farmer, no food. No food, no future. There's no two ways about it. And we're trying to say, let us come and engage. Let us attract these people to get involved in this thing. Yes. And midway into attracting them, there's already huge youth apathy to agriculture. And we're trying to look at how much you can make from these things. If 10% of the money charged on forex for those importations is invested into empowering young farmers to produce this crop locally, we'll be better for it. We'll be far better for it. So we've engaged widely and we've reached the CBN and trying to help them see reasons that this is what we can do. You understand? And we're not saying that without your supporting us, we're already doing it. Right? So what will it cost us to, support local production in Nigeria, regardless of the pain? Do you understand? What will it cost us? So it's...
But in all of this, don't forget also that the government is interested. This particular government came on board with plans to diversify the Nigerian economy, particularly towards agriculture, which they have been running on the objectives for a very long time. So I don't know what you...
Our immediate past president was a lecturer or was in the academia. We have a president who is a farmer. Himself. He's not he's still farming. He still has his livestock and cattle in Daura and stuff like that.
I know that.
And this is why he's very, very passionate. No doubt about that. You can't begrudge that reality that if you want to say everything he has not done, you cannot say he's not passionate about agriculture.
Yes.
He's championed the cause of diversification through agriculture. The non-oil sector. He has challenged everybody to go back to the farm. He's given directives to the central bank to have young people.
Even the various interventions
one of the major reasons he closed the borders that people like us wrote to comment was to also empower local production.
Yes, to boost local production.
Good. So that is why it's a bit ironical. One stands dazed to imagine why a month you ban, the second month you permit for selected companies to import this product 220,000 tons, which I've illustrated how that is such a joke to how much we can augment. Talking about augmenting, about local production. I tell you something, we're entering the dry season farming section. You talked about flooding. Flooding is always during the wet seasons that you have the issues of flooding.
Yes, it was on a high this year.
Of course, these are expected dynamics that a thinking government has to be proactive about. Flooding is not only peculiar to Nigeria, it's in every clime. We're suffering climate change. Climate change is a global phenomenon, and that's one of the things that's triggering flooding.
But where it affected a particular product like maize?
That is it. When you say it's affected a particular product like maize, I understand.
It affected agricultural products, including maize.
As a media person, that
including maize.
Yes, because the same flood that affects maize affects rice and affects. Why is it isolated to maize now?
I was coming to ask you that.
How did that mean? The question we have to ask government. So this we're trying to say that flooding is the excuse for doing this, that we cannot augment local production because of flooding. How come it is now maize is an isolated case? As always. So what we're saying is that this is a good time to look at things more. Maybe they will say they didn't know we had this capacity. Young people don't have the capacity to augment local production. We were here as we celebrated this thing. It was like Christmas. A Christmas gift that came early for us, that government banned maize. You understand? And we have tidied up programs to roll out 1 million farmers to say thank you for this opportunity. And in saying thank you for this opportunity, it will create jobs, it will create wealth, it will help our GDP. Look at where our unemployment rate is growing at 2.7%.
Anyway, let's go on a break and we'll be right back. We'll take a short break now and you are still on to business and economy, and we have been looking at the current policy reversal on maize importation by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the effects. My guest has been a business consultant, Mr. Promise Amahah. Mr. Amahah, before we went on the break, you were talking so passionately about the waiver. I know that as a Nigerian, you should have passion for agriculture, and your own discipline and your business in agriculture also can lead you to this passion. But again, how visible is your organization to the government, and have you laid these complaints to the government?
Thanks for that question. Talking about visibility, one of the things we didn't do as an organization was to make the same mistakes previous organizations who have attempted to mobilize young people in agriculture made. Visibility is also a function of what would I call it? Engagement, direct engagement. So first of all, we found out that for the past how many years, close to 50 years, Nigeria has not had reliable data on agriculture. You can't develop agriculture without having reliable data. So some people call it big data. So for 10 years, we've been in the process of trying to fix the data in agriculture up to the last mile. So in that process, we didn't need the kind of visibility that will create the distractions on what we're building, because we know how these things come about. First of all, this organization is a non-governmental organization. Nigerian Young Farmers Network is a non-governmental, non-partisan, non-political organization, obviously. So looking at the dynamics that has impeded growth of such organizations and impact over time, we decided to fly under the radar all this while to create a structure that won't be disrupted, that won't be hijacked by political forces for different gains and different very, very self-serving primordial sentiments. We tried to diversify and make sure we got our structure first. Now we got our structure well. Our strategy is simple: gear, gather, equip, activate, and release. We've come to the stage where we are ready to engage with government, and that's why we've started reaching out to different agencies to see what we're going to do. So the reason why we've been a bit on the low is to get the foundation properly laid out, because we know how it is when you're building up and you create the so-called visibility and you play just to the gallery. They either hijack you or they either convert the whole scheme into a political affair. Not too long ago, we sent out a press statement that is available on the media that we're a non-political organization. Some people came together and hijacked our structure temporarily, and they said it was for they called a political purpose. And young people were registering and were collecting money from the same young people, impersonating us. So those are kind of dangers and hazards you find when you don't properly put your foundation. We have to quickly put out a press statement denouncing that and stating the obvious on what we're doing. So now we're ready for the visibility. Now we're engaging with government. I've already showed you the picture with the central bank governor. We didn't start today making these consultations. The network wasn't born out of just passion. It was born out of identifying the gaps and inefficiencies across the sector. And that's why the network is open to not just farmers, but everybody that plays within the value chain. Because, the process of farming is just the first step towards the value chain. You understand?
Because the value chain will provide
it's huge.
Jobs and create wealth.
Exactly. So this is a model that is unique to us. No other organization has been able to embrace the value chain the way we have embraced it in a network that is supposed to be called the farming network.
In all of this, is the government aware of your activities? Because from what you showed to us now on the screen, if one farmer could produce as far as a trailer load of maize. From your organization, I'm sure, I don't know if the government is aware of your activities,
I would think,
your productivity level.
I would think that our engagement, okay, to answer that question quickly with another example, I think last 2 weeks, I got a call from our state coordinator in Adamawa State. And what was the challenge? The director of DSS, the DSS director for Adamawa State, invited him because of the activities of our network in Adamawa State. And of course, I told him to give him go ahead to go and respond to that. So if the government is not aware of our activities, what we don't want to do is to become cosmetic. We don't want to also be available for random and passive use. We want to be on ground. Our target is the last mile, strengthen rural farming, strengthen rural value chains, strengthen rural production, where it starts from, and take it in a bottom-top approach, basically. So talking about awareness, the government is sure aware of what we are doing, and we're taking further steps to engage them in the program we want to launch, the 1 million farmer program we want to launch, which is a deliberate effort to complement the ban on importation of maize. Okay. But I've explained to you why originally for the past 10 years we've been building up, we decided to be a bit unannounced. And
after this waiver, have you drawn the attention of the Central Bank of Nigeria?
After the
waiver? After the
ban or the waiver, after the waiver.
Okay, so the waiver given to 4 companies to import this product.
The waiver happened not too long ago. As an organization, we are not impulsive. We don't take random spontaneous actions. We think it through. We analyze, okay, let us understand, try and see things from their own point of view. Okay. And after seeing things from their own point of view and considering our capacity and what we can do, we now realize that this activity, is not pro-Nigeria. It's not pro-Nigeria in any way. It's not even pro-youth. It's not even pro-youth, considering that we have long insecurities. Okay. But hold on, recently the same government launched 30 billion community policing fund. Have we ever imagined what 13 billion can do in community farming? Do you understand the impact of 13 billion naira in community farming? We need to be able to start thinking about a different approach to tackling insecurity. Boko Haram has been announced to have entered into the Federal Capital Territory. It's been rumored that they have started planting cells.
For now, it is rumored.
The only reason why such Boko Haram has sustainably operated in Nigeria for this long is that they run a very robust economy. That even their recruitment pattern provides a minimum wage for potential members who are poorest of the poor that is attractive to them. Those are the issues we are trying to address.
Okay, if you have to advise the government, what do you think the government can do to enhance the agricultural sector in the country?
Where we are, the young farmers are there. We want to run a 1 million farmer program to, first of all, use this maize ban as a litmus test, to show the capacity of young people who are willing to do agriculture. Okay. It's no longer the time that we didn't want to do agriculture. We're willing to do agriculture, and within the value chain, because same young people will be part of the primary production, we're part of the processing, we're part of the haulage and logistics, we're part of all the processes within the value chain, preservation, storage that has to do with maize. Do you understand? So it is high time government engages with such organizations like us who have a strategic roadmap, a sustainable roadmap with a blueprint that is evident that we can deliver on local production and help reverse the trend of unemployment, help boost our GDP, help reduce the rate of insecurity in the country. You understand? And basically, like I said, it's nothing for us. We are not out to try to compel government to see reasons with us. We want our actions and our activities to show for itself. So government can be convinced beyond reasonable doubt that this capacity is internal, is intrinsic. We can do this within Nigeria. Do you understand? And this is the first way to go. You understand? Let's attempt banning all crops imported into Nigeria and challenge local production. The idea, what has actually frustrated us for too long is that, the way it's been put, I said this last time, an enlightenment on agriculture is one of the areas government needs to partner with us too. Because you talk to young people about agriculture and it appears that all you talk to them about is just about farming and local production. What about the value chain? Let them see the wealth they can create in the value chain, how they can play in the whole sectors. Dry season farming is coming. Irrigation farming, we need to invest in irrigation farming to be able to meet up with this shortfall of importation. Okay. Plumbers play a role in irrigation farming because the piping and the waterways within plumbers, what is happening to our dams? How are dams being serviced and maintained to service dry season farming? Do you understand? Right. And these value chains, engineers will play a role there. Technical expertise amongst young people will be necessary to drive this. So we are looking forward to government looking inwards and engaging with us. We have a strategy that is proven, and we can do this thing. Let's engage and make this thing happen.
We have a listening government that can do that.
The president already has the free goodwill to make this thing happen. Let's complement. Let's do this real thing. Let's not play politics with development.
We are not playing politics, and we hope that politics will not play into the whole of the agricultural sector in Nigeria. Mr. Amahah, I want to thank you for coming on the program, and this is how far we can go on today's edition of your program. Make sure you take personal responsibility against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic to enjoy a healthy economy. Have a great day.